Man United, and the Reds go marching on. Manchester United have just beaten Barcelona 2-1 at Old Trafford to go through to the next round of the Europa League. Is there anything this manager cannot do? Is there any challenge that this team cannot overcome? Absolutely fantastic second half performance from Ten Hag's side today, and I've never ever seen Old Trafford bouncing the way it was since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. So many talking points to discuss today, including Fred's magnetic performance in the midfield, the world-class performances put in by Martinez and Varane in defense, and of course, Ten Hag's tactical changes at halftime that absolutely changed the game. If you like what you see, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to never miss out on content just like this. Let's start by talking about Barcelona's shape and possession, because this will tell us a lot about United's struggles in the first half. Barcelona started in their usual 4-3-3 shape, but they actually played a 2-2-3-3 in possession, which is a bit of a departure from their usual 3-2-2-3 shape. So here we have the 2-2-3-3 shape that Barcelona played today, with the front three of Lewandowski, Balde and Rafinha, and Kessie and Roberto playing as inverted midfielders occupying the inside half spaces to support the front three. The big change that I noticed versus the first leg at the Camp Nou was the role of Jules Koundé, who was playing much further forward than he normally does. Normally he's in this back three line here, which makes up the 3-2-2-3 shape. But today Koundé was getting forward a lot more, often overlapping Rafinha, which created a lot of problems for Shaw, Martinez and Casemiro, and also forced Rashford to stay deeper defensively. I think Xavi recognized that United like to stay compact in defense, and they try to overload the ball side in an effort to win it back. So like we see here, Balde has the ball and United has shifted their entire team more towards the Barcelona left. So Balde can just play this ball back to someone like De Jong, and De Jong can easily switch the flank to Rafinha, where Koundé can overlap and give nightmares to someone like Shaw. In the first leg, United did the same thing by playing compact and overloading the ball side, which left a lot of space for Balde on the left-hand side. And you can probably remember Aaron Wan-Bissaka being overmatched in this area on several occasions in the first leg. But Barcelona didn't really have an outlet on the right flank in the first leg, and Xavi wanted to make sure that they had someone here, especially so that Rashford would be pulled back in defense as well. So as a result, United were pinned in their own half in the first half, and we couldn't really get any attacks going with about 72% pass accuracy. And in terms of other issues for United, I thought the front four really struggled, and I have a clip here to help you understand exactly why. We start with Barca taking a throw in United's half here. As Koundé gets it back from Busquets, he's about to play a ball into Rafinha here, who takes a loose touch and Casemiro is ready to pounce on it. Casemiro lays it off to Fred, who plays a first-time pass to Sancho, who's in perfect position to start the counterattack with Bruno in support. As Sancho gets ready to play the ball in front of Bruno, notice how Weghorst is the furthest United player in support of both Bruno and Sancho. Rashford is much deeper than Sancho because he was defending against the throw-in from Koundé in this area here. As Sancho plays the ball, we see that Bruno is a few yards behind De Jong because he just doesn't have the pace to win that ball. Even if Bruno wins the ball and plays it back into the box, there's no way that Weghorst can beat these four Barcelona players here. And Rashford's starting position is just too deep to get involved in this play, even if Bruno gets at the end of it. And this is where I think Ten Hag got his tactics wrong, especially in the first half. Because if Rashford starts much higher up in this area here, his starting position is much more advanced, and Sancho has another option than just Bruno on the counterattack. So when Sancho picks up the ball here, he could have easily played a ball over the top for Rashford to run in behind, and I don't think any of these Barcelona players catch Rashford. And given that Barcelona were holding such a high line the entire first half, we had several other opportunities where Rashford could have gotten in behind had he played as the starting striker. As we play this along, of course, it's very easy for Frankie de Jong to win that race, and he plays it back very easily to Ter Stegen. And again, we see instead of Weghorst being in this area, if it was Rashford's probably somewhere here. So I think playing Sancho off the left, Rashford as the striker, and Weghorst in the 10 would have made that chance a lot easier for United, because Weghorst can play the pass that Sancho just played to Bruno. Sancho can defend deep like Rashford did on the left wing, and Rashford is much better than someone like Weghorst in these situations. Obviously, Ten Hag noticed the same problem and made tactical changes in the second half, as we'll talk about next. At halftime, Ten Hag took off Weghorst and brought on Antony, which changed the shape of our front four. Rashford played as the striker, Sancho played as the left winger, Fernandes was in the 10, and Antony played off the right. And the Barcelona backline was absolutely shitting themselves because Rashford is great at making these diagonal runs in behind both center backs, and Antony is much faster than Bruno as well, at least faster than Christensen and De Jong. As a result, Barcelona's defensive line was pushed much deeper, and this eased pressure off of United, so they were no longer pinned in their own half. And here's a great example of the impact of the Antony substitution. We see De Gea about to pass it out to Varane. As Varane receives it, he's already looking up to see if there's a ball in behind. Varane launches a ball forward towards Antony, who we see in a foot race with Christensen, as Araujo and Koundé are also sprinting to get back, while Bruno is in a decent position to provide support. And just a second later, we see that Antony's already beaten Christensen and is favored to win the ball, whereas Bruno in this position just can't do that. Also, just see how advanced Rashford is because he starts at the striker position instead of being in the left wing area, and absolutely no way Weghorst is anywhere near this area if this chance happened in the first half. So Antony gets to the edge of the box past Christensen with tons of space in front of him, while Rashford does a really good job of staying onside. All Antony needs to do is get into this area and play it across for a tap in for Rashford. But unfortunately, Antony gets his pass angles wrong. Instead of going this way, he goes at this angle, and United can't score. I said this in my last video where I covered United. It is absolutely crazy to me how much a manager can influence a game with just one change, and Xavi had absolutely no answer for Ten Hag's tactics. United were much more dominant in the second half thanks to Ten Hag's tactical masterclass. Now, we cannot analyze this game without talking about Fred the Red's performance. Oh my lord, can this guy be inconsistent from game to game, even from half to half. He's always been tenacious, hardworking, and he always finds himself in great attacking positions because he's usually the one who wins the ball back high up the pitch. But his passing and decision making often let him down, which frustrates the hell out of us United fans. But today he was on another level, especially in the second half. Let's analyze his goal real quick and talk through his stats. Here we see Luke Shaw about to take a throw in towards Bruno Fernandes, but there are 3 Barcelona players that are about to converge onto him. They try to get it under control, but they can't really seem to do it as it's bouncing around everywhere. Finally, it lands at the feet of Kessié, who tries playing it back into Koundé in this direction, but he doesn't get it into control before he does that. So it gets intercepted by Sancho, who plays it straight to Bruno Fernandes in this channel here, and Bruno receives it on the half turn. I want to pause it here and look at how many Barca players are surrounding Bruno. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, and Fred's just beyond these 2 players here. As we play it, he drives a pass towards Fred that has the perfect weight and the perfect angle, and it takes out all 5 of these players, especially these 2 that are closest to Fred, which allows Fred to take the perfect first touch and get into this tiny space in between De Jong and Balde, and Fred fires a shot with his weaker foot into the bottom corner past Ter Stegen. I am continuously amazed by Bruno's feel for the game. I don't care what anyone says, that pass right there was absolutely world class. Even Paul Scholes was waxing lyrical about this in the post-match analysis. Also, where is this Fred when you need him? Great first touch and great shot with his weaker right foot. How many times have we heard those exact words describe anything Fred has done? He had 84% pass accuracy today, 47 touches, 1 dribble, and was dispossessed only once. He also attempted a game-high 17 ground duels today. He only won 6 of them, but he attempted 17, so he was an absolute pest on those Barcelona midfielders. And personally, I'm very happy for him to perform well in such an important game for United. He is definitely my man of the match for today. And for our final talking point, I want to touch on 2 world-class players that absolutely saved us in this game. And it's not Casemiro or Bruno Fernandes, it's our center backs. Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane have been so instrumental in everything good that Ten Hag has done this season. We rarely concede more than 1 goal in games. In fact, since the World Cup, Man United have conceded just 12 goals in 18 games, and 3 of those came against Arsenal. After we went up 2-1 in the 73rd minute today, United needed some resolute defending to stop the Barcelona attack. I had no doubt in my mind that Martinez and Varane could get the job done. Let's look at some of their stats today. Martinez had 63 touches, 9 passes into the final third, and 5 accurate long balls, so he was great at building the ball out from the back. 3 tackles, 4 clearances, 8 ball recoveries, and 7 ground duels won. Varane, on the other hand, 43 touches, 7 passes into the final third, and 2 accurate long balls, so not on the ball as much, but he had 3 clearances, 2 interceptions, 9 ball recoveries, and 2 aerial duels won. So these guys complement each other perfectly. Martinez goes in for all the ground duels first, and Varane just clears up everything in the air. I don't think there are any forwards in any European team that look at our center back partnership and think we're going to have an easy time today. Absolute world-class players. In closing thoughts, I think this is a momentous win for Erik Ten Hag because Barcelona created absolutely nothing today. They had only 6 shots to United's 12, and outside of the Koundé header that De Gea saved, they didn't create anything. On paper, they had slightly more XG than Man United, but 0.79 of that XG comes from the penalty. So that means they only created 0.4 XG, most of which came from the Koundé header. Keeping a team like this quiet, who are top of La Liga, 8 points clear of Real Madrid, is no easy feat. And I get it, rival fans might be thinking, this was just a Europa League game. Why are United fans getting so gassed? It's because this win is symbolic. It represents how far we've come under this great manager in such a short period of time. Roll on to Newcastle on Sunday so we can win our first trophy under this manager and go on to bigger and better things. Get in the comments with your thoughts. Are you guys as excited about Ten Hag as I am? Like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.